Hi and welcome back for another Wildlife Wednesday. Today we are leaving the zoo and going down to the river and in search of crayfish. Now here I have a crayfish. These are very common here in the Zumbro River. Along with most rivers and streams are going to have types of crayfish. There's about 500 or so species in the world. But this little guy, or big guy, he's actually a pretty good size. So this is what we're going to find here in Minnesota. This is our typical crayfish. They are a crustacean, so they're in the lobster family, similar to them, but obviously very small. They go by a couple different names. I call them crayfish, but they also go by crawfish or crawdads or crawdaddies too. So crayfish are invertebrates. They do not have backbones and they do have an exoskeleton. So he has a very hard outer shell and they will actually shed those. And then they have a segmented body similar to an insect. So he's going to have a head, a thorax, and an abdomen, which is segmented as you can see. And then his tail here. And then these guys right here are his legs for crawling around. He also has these little leggy things here. Those are for swimming in the water, and those are what help them with a fast burst to be able to shoot backwards away from you when you're trying to catch them. And then lastly, like most people know, they have those big chompers, and they use those to either scavenge for food and for protection and sparring when they're mating as well. And this chomper right here is called a cheliped. A common predator of crayfish are raccoons. You can see here there was a raccoon track in the mud, and right behind it was a leftover crayfish claw that he didn't take with him. Besides raccoons, some other predators of crayfish include snapping turtles, larger fish, birds like great blue herons, otters. So they are good munching for a lot of animals, but what the crayfish eat are actually a little bit of everything as well. So they're going to eat vegetation in the rivers, dead and decaying fish, or insects. They don't really care as long as they can get their little chompers on it. There are quite a bit of different species of crayfish here in Minnesota. As you can see, there's a lot of differences on these guys with their color. And then they're showing you a good example of how they walk with their legs and then how they shoot back as well with that sudden burst of energy. This may just look like a dead crayfish, but in reality this is actually their exoskeleton. So because they don't have backbones, they have these hard outer shells that keep them safe, but as they grow, they have to get bigger ones because they grow out of them. So this is just the shell of the crayfish. As you can see, it's pretty clear through it, and he doesn't have any eyes, so you know it's just the shell. And here's the bottom. You can see a good look on that as well. Now this go by different names, like crayfish is what I call them, crawdads, or what's the last one?
Oh.
Crayfish,
Crawdads.
crawfish.
Crayfish,
oh,
crawfish.
crawfish and crawdads. Okay, are you so really?
Mm-hmm.
Are crustaceans invertebrates? Yeah, they're invertebrates. They don't have backbones. They have exoskeletons.
Yeah.
I pulled up your boot and you water.